Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sophie and I would love it if you click that big red subscribe button down below. I talk about language learning a lot, I make travel videos, I also talk about uni life. So if you're interested in any of those types of videos, then definitely make sure to click that big red subscribe button down below and turn on that notification bell as well so that you never miss a video. Now this video is going to be another app review, and this time it's about the language learning app Utalk. Now I hadn't actually heard of this app until they contacted me asking me to try it out, and I thought, yeah, I'll try it out for you all because I really enjoy making these language learning review apps for you all. And I just think they're so useful, as there's so many different language learning apps out there these days, and different ones are better suited for different types of learners. So yeah, I just feel like a review can be really helpful, and I do have a 30% off discount for you all, which I will leave a link to down below in the description box. It is an affiliate link, I will let you know, but yeah, if you want to get a discount, then I really appreciate it if you use that affiliate link. But yeah, anyway, shall I get on with the review? So first of all, what is Utalk? Well, obviously it's a language learning app, but it's an app which focuses more on learning vocabulary and phrases through the use of games with pictures. And they have told me that learners do need to use other resources for grammar. They don't teach grammar. And yeah, I think with every app you should always be using other resources anyway, not solely relying on one app. I think the best way to learn a language is to be, you know, really immersing yourself in learning the language in many different ways. But yeah, anyway, just thought I'd mention that it is more about, you know, vocabulary and phrases through the use of games. So if you want to brush up on your vocabulary or learn some new vocabulary in a fun way, then this is something that you may want to consider. Now these games, a lot of them are like memory games with pictures. And yeah, I'll get into that further later when I talk about what I like and dislike about the app. But yeah, I just want to quickly say I will personally say this app is more suited for beginners and maybe like lower intermediate learners. I tried out both the German and the Spanish section on this app, and I am quite an advanced learner, I guess I would say, in both of these languages. I studied them both at university. And you know, I'm not saying there wasn't any words or phrases, you know, any that were new for me. There was definitely new words that I was learning, but I did feel like a lot of the phrases were quite basic, and I was trying to choose topics that I thought would be a bit more advanced, like things like natural disaster relief and stuff, and I was finding things like just really basic phrases that I'd learned back in school and stuff. And so yeah, I will say that, but I did learn new vocabulary and stuff, and some like really interesting vocabulary that like is pretty basic but I wouldn't learn at university, like how to say batteries in Spanish, which I think was pilas, if I'm remembering correctly. I've probably already have I forgotten already? I don't know, but yeah, we'll say that. Okay, so one thing that I really love about the app is just the amount of languages that are on here. So I'm just looking at this quickly now, and I can see Afrikaans, Bengali, Belarusian, and I didn't even know that there was a language called Belarusian. I just thought they all spoke Russian in Belarus, Basque, you know, obviously you've got the popular languages as well, like Chinese, Spanish, French, Italian, but as well as that you've got some languages that are, you know, quite hard to find on other language learning apps. So if you are learning one of those languages, you know, that could be the app for you. Or if you really want to start learning one of these languages or just test it out, you know, could be the app for you. And as well as that, they have like different dialects and I know like some apps probably have different dialects anyway. Like I feel like with English it's quite common to, you know, either learn British English or American English, for example. But as well as that, they've also got Canadian English, Scottish English, you know, Australian English. I don't know if these are, you know, quite popular to learn anyway, because I mean, I don't study English, I'm a native speaker, so I don't, but so I don't know if you would find them on other apps, but I did find that quite interesting. And English isn't the only example of where they had different dialects. I saw they had Argentinian Spanish, for example, and they have right now I can see they have Moroccan Arabic, as well as like Lebanese Arabic and Egyptian Arabic. So there's all these different dialects and stuff, and different, you know, accents, and they use audio as well, so in this app. So obviously if you want to learn to understand a certain accent, it could be really, really helpful, even if you know Spanish already, right? But you're gonna move to Argentina or something, and you're worried because you've heard that the Argentinian accent is very difficult to understand. You can just brush up on the basics bit here in the Argentinian audio, for example. So yeah, I really like that about this app. And the next thing that I like about the app is the quality of the audio. I did mention earlier that there's audio, and I do think the audio is really clear, and yeah, you can really understand the audio really well. And I do think this is really important, because personally I find I memorize words and phrases better when I hear them, also when I say them aloud. And yeah, also you want to know how to pronounce these words, right? So you want to hear them, and you know, you can repeat the audio as well, which is good. And they have both male and female voices, so when you hear a word once, it might be, you know, with the male voice, but if you click to play it again, then it'll be with the female voice, and then yeah, if you play it again, it'll go back to the male voice, for example. So you can really hear, you know, the audio. You've got good quality audio. That's what I want to say. Another thing which I liked about the app was the use of pictures, as I think this could be really helpful for visual learners. Obviously, seeing a picture to go with each word could really just help you memorize it. You could have that picture in mind, and yeah, that could help you memorize the word. As I know they say some people are visual learners. I don't really understand all the different methods to learn and stuff, but I know they say some people are visual learners, and if you are a visual learner, I feel like this is something that you would really like about the app, and it's good to see that they have pictures to help you enforce these words and phrases. So the thing that I probably like the most about this app is actually the speaking feature, which may come as a shock to you all if you've watched the last app review that I did on my channel, as yeah, I didn't really like the speaking feature on the Link app, but I actually liked it on Utalk's app, and that is because in their speaking feature it's different. You know, you say the word, but then instead of having this app tell you if you said it correctly or not, it actually makes you listen to their audio and mark it correct yourself. So it gets you really listening back to what you've said and really listening to their audio and thinking, have I said that correctly? Which I really prefer, because I think, you know, it's testing you more, because you're really trying to listen out to every little sound and, you know, really paying really close attention to how each word is pronounced. And also because I've told you before, I haven't got on with speaking sections in apps where I've had problems previously, where I've thought I've been saying the word pretty well and it's a word that I've known or whatever, and the app's been telling me that I said it completely wrong. Like, for example, in the Link app there was like some word and phrase that was quite basic to me, and I okay, it may have not been perfect, but it was telling me I got it like 20% wrong or something, and I was like, huh? Like, it can't be that bad, like, but I don't know, like, I don't have that issue. I don't have this issue with this app just not hearing me properly and saying something's wrong when I actually think that is right instead. But I guess there are some negatives to this, whereas, you know, you might just mark it as correct when it's not actually correct. But if you listen really carefully, I think you can pick out on, you know, how you're saying it differently. Like, I don't always just mark myself correct. I do listen and I do go, oh no, actually I didn't say that right, you know, I didn't pronounce that sound the way that they pronounced it in the audio, and I mark it as incorrect, and I try again. And I listen to it again, and I keep doing that until I think I'm happy with the way that I'm pronouncing that word and phrase. And yeah, I just like that about their speaking feature. So the third thing that I dislike about the app is that sometimes I feel like it's testing my memory of pictures and where specific pictures are on the screen, rather than whether I know this word or phrase. Now, I know I said previously that I liked the use of pictures because I feel like this is really good for visual learners, and I do still think that's true, but there were just some times where I knew the word, but there were maybe a couple of pictures that were similar, and you know, in a hurry or whatever, I clicked the wrong picture even though I knew the word, and this was really frustrating. And there was this game called the memory game in the app, which maybe you'll find quite fun, but yeah, in this memory game you're shown a bunch of cards and you can see them for a certain amount of time, and then they all flip over, and then you hear the audio and you have to click the correct card, except you can't see the pictures. And you know, it got harder as it went along. At the start there was only 2 cards, and then there was only 3 cards, and I could do that, but by the time it was like 6 cards, I was getting words wrong even though I knew them, and that just used to frustrate me and put me in a bad mood. And I mean, maybe for some of you you actually find this more of a challenge, and maybe it would encourage you to play the game again, therefore until you get it right, therefore enforcing these words in your mind even more, which I think is meant to be the idea of it. But for me personally, it was just frustrating. I would have rather like seen the pictures and heard the audio, or seen the word in English or something and heard the audio and matched up the correct, you know, phrase with the translation or something like that. But then again, pictures are better than translations, because it's not always, they say when learning the language, it's not always good to just use translations. So yeah, or a definition. I could have a definition in Spanish, and then, but then that wouldn't be very good for beginners. That would be more advanced. So yeah. Another thing which I disliked is that I noticed some slight repetition, only slight, but it was still there, of certain words in different categories, which, you know, was kind of annoying because I wanted to see new words and new phrases because I was learning this new category, and I didn't want to see repetition of stuff from other categories, because if I wanted to revise words from other categories, I would just go play the games again. But yeah, for example, I noticed the word for earthquake came up in both natural disasters and emergencies, and I get that it's fitting for both of those topics, categories, so I get why it came up, but it was a bit like, I want to learn new words. And I mean, I guess this just means that I shouldn't forget the word for earthquake now, so maybe it's better because it's really enforcing that word in my head, and it's a word, to be fair, that I've learnt before in all of my languages, but I always forget it. So and it is probably a word that I should know, you know, studying languages at university, I should know a word like that in all of my languages. So yeah, I mean, it has its benefits. The repetition in different categories just means that these words you're going to learn, you know, learn them much more. But personally, I would have liked to see more new words. And I mean, most of the categories were made up of new words. Like I said, I only saw like slight repetition of words. I mean, I've given you one example. That's it so far, but I haven't completed every category on the app. So yeah. Another thing that I disliked was during all of the games, I felt like I was seeing certain words more than others, and then by the time I got to the recall game, which is where you see all of the words and phrases, except you don't see all the words and phrases, you see the pictures that match with them all, and you have to say the word and then listen back to the audio and mark if it's correct. But by the time I got to that recall game, you know, I knew like half of the words, and there were others that I just didn't know. And maybe sometimes I actually knew the words, I just didn't know what the picture was that went with them, because I'd forgotten, as I'd barely seen that picture during the games. and this is something that I found quite annoying, but I don't know if I was to go back and replay all those games, if then it would test me on the words that I hadn't seen last time so much. I mean, I did see all of the words still in the games, but there's just some that I really didn't see much, and often for me they seem to be the harder ones, but that could just be because, yeah, I didn't see them so much. And yeah, I don't know if you go back and replay these games if it would test you on the ones that you didn't see so much last time. I haven't really been back and replayed any of the games because I'm kind of the person that once I finish one category I just want to move on to the next. I don't want to revise it until like maybe a month down the line, then I'm like, oh, I'll revise it now, but I just like to move on with things, which probably isn't good because that's probably why I'm always forgetting words in my languages, because I'm just like, right, on to the next lot of vocabulary to learn, on to the next, yeah, just not reviewing stuff as often as I probably should. But yeah, I mean, maybe this is a sign that I just need to go review vocabulary more in order to improve in each of my languages. And the last thing that I dislike about the app, I did kind of touch on briefly earlier, and that is that I feel like you cannot get to an advanced level with this app. Now, I know you can't get to an advanced level with any app alone, but even with other stuff going on, like, I feel like the app really doesn't help you much to get to an advanced level, as it's just so, you know, basic phrases and vocabulary. But I feel like it could really help you in the beginning because you're seeing all these basic words and phrases, but a lot of the phrases do kind of feel like the phrases that, you know, you learn at school, and then you memorize them and you just regurgitate them in conversations, but then you can't actually, you know when you leave school you can just regurgitate, oh, hi, I'm Sophie, I'm 23 years old, I like cooking or something random like that, but you can't maybe respond to other people's questions because you've only really learnt phrases, not how to form your own sentences. And I mean, yeah, I did mention that, you know, you do need another app to learn grammar, or, you know, another resource to learn grammar, and, you know, that is partly why, but still just a lot of the phrases really remind me of the stuff that I learned at school. But then if you're learning a language at school, and this could be a good kind of like little revision thing outside of school, really enforcing these phrases that you need to know for your exams, yeah, in your mind. But I don't know, or if you want to learn just a little bit of the language, just a few phrases for a trip that you're planning, or just, you know, for small talk conversation, if you've got like a friend who's from one of these countries and you just want to learn a little bit just to be nice and make an effort, like to say thank you to that friend or something in their language instead of in English or something like that. But yeah, I do feel like quite basic vocabulary and phrases, and that is something that just I couldn't not mention. But if you are, you know, learning a language from beginners, it could be worthwhile. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope that you've all found it useful, and if you did, then please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out, and hit that big red subscribe button down below so that you never miss a video. And don't forget that if you do like the look of the Utalk app, I have a link down in the description box where you can get 30% off. So yeah, make sure to go check that out, and yeah, let me know in the comments section down below if there's anything in particular that you like about this app after having watched this video, and also let me know what languages you're learning or are hoping to learn in the future, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!